All right. You have to forgive me. I have a very challenging hobby. I deal with a lot of sorrow, grief, a lot of madness. And I have to counterbalance that with good, positive energy. Right? I have to spread the good vibes. So, love and happiness to everybody out there. Glad you could join me back here. I have a fixation with 40 years, primarily 40 years of musical creations. Almost all the music I listen to is from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. That 40-year time span. Shame on these music executives who infiltrated rap music and started to force artists to take these satanic oaths and commit blood sacrifices and commit to pushing negative, destructive messages through our beautiful music. I want to deal with some of these pit bull attacks. Shout out to Pitbull Victim Awareness, the channel. And I'm going to use some of the stories that they've shared that I want to deal with here. Like I said, I've always thought it was very dangerous. Very dangerous to look at this dog culture as a problem that any certain group shouldn't have to worry about. I don't care if you're black, white, Muslim, Christian. If you live in the United States, dogs are a problem. They're a problem for all of us. Now, it may be more extreme in some groups than others. Like I said, it really, I can only speak from my experience. Before I even started this anti-dog thing, I told some of you a story about me being in a chat room online somewhere. And I was against people and their dogs back then. And I made a statement. I said that, you know what? Somebody lose control of their dog, I'm going to shoot it. I said that in the chat room and I got banned from the group. And this was an all black website. That guy who tricked me, who brought me into his home, welcomed me into his home, I told him, look, you have to put those dogs away. This was before I started this crusade, before I got involved in this crusade. It had been started long before I created my channel. He invited me in, and as soon as I got into his home and I sat down and got comfortable, he moseyed upstairs and let those dogs out. That, again, was one of my black co-workers. So my experience, I've had issues. I understand the nuttery in general overall might be more intense in other groups, but I don't care. Me personally, I don't care. Wherever I find this nonsense, I'm disgusted. And if it's not so much a part of the Black American community, that makes me even more upset. Go, why are you picking up such crazy, backwards habits and lifestyles? I can't credit anyone who's currently engaged in this behavior. I'll consider our history if we currently today are making an active stand against this nuttery. Now, I say that because of this story right here sort of hit home for me. This took place back, I think, in 2014. Very horrible story. But what really ticked me off about this was what the grandmother said. The grandmother made some statements that just made me shake my head. I face palmed. Right? So most of you heard about this. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Family and friends of a young boy who was killed by 3 pit bulls gathered Thursday at the Camden home where he lived with his mother. 4-year-old Kasai Haith was mauled to death Wednesday afternoon, and his pregnant mother, Kaisha Haith, was injured in the incident.
She was with him all day. They were outside. He was chasing them, the dogs. The dogs was chasing him.
Okay, let me be clear so you understand what she's saying here. The boy grew up with the dogs. They were playing. He was playing with the dogs. He was chasing the dogs were chasing him. Okay?
And she said, Kasai, Mommy's got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay? The mother said she told her son, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
And she went and used the bathroom. Just know, my daughter fought for her son. She loved him. And he was so excited about his baby brother and sister. She's having fraternal twins, a boy and a girl.
The 3 pit bulls that killed Kasai were on a front porch of a neighbor's house the day before and running through other nearby yards on Edwardsville Road.
When I told him to go on...
Okay. Oh, my goodness. So these dogs, they were going roaming. They would roam the neighborhood off leash onto other people's property. Wow. Really? This was a witness.
When I told him to go on, a dog that, that's scared of you will just go when you tell it to go on, go home or whatever, It didn't do it. They just did their business and marched all over, just searched the whole yard, just walked by, just like they were hunting.
It's probably the worst.
Yeah. When pit bulls are out, especially if it's more than one, they are out hunting. Automatically. They're going around looking for something to fixate on, something to lock in on and attack. But think about the owners of these dogs. To be this careless, to say to themselves, well, they don't attack me. They've never attacked me. So I'm going to just let them on. This is what these people do. They start to believe that the pit bull, that the bully breed is harmless. Well, it never attacks me. The behaviorists, you notice how they never reprimand dog owners about this? They never lecture or coach dog owners about this. You never hear them talking about, hey, look, just because your dog won't attack you doesn't mean it won't attack other people. They never talk to them about this. And that is very dangerous. For you to be so ignorant that you will assume that a pit bull or any dog will behave towards others the same way as it behaves towards you, the person who feeds it. Unbelievable.
I've seen, it's not definitely the first mauling incident throughout the state or even death from fatality from a dog bite, but it was bad. Whenever a child is involved, a lot of emotions.
But, leaving a child unattended.
He said, oh boy, stop it. He said when it involves a child, there's a lot of emotions. No, I don't like that either. I don't like that. Well, there's a lot of emotions because it's still a helplessness about it. Almost like they imply, well, there's nothing we can do to stop it. So when it happens to a child, oh, it's very emotional and heartbreaking, but we can't do anything to stop it. I don't like that. Cut that out. Oh, we can't do anything to stop it. Oh, it's always a lot of emotions involved. There need to be laws involved. What you talking about?
Involved a lot of emotions.
But leaving a child unattended.
Stop that unattended nonsense. It's part of dog culture to leave dogs alone with kids. You all produce millions of images with kids alone with dogs. You're bringing these dogs into these schools all around the country, and you're bringing them towards kids, and you're teaching very young kids, prepubescent children. You're teaching them to view these things as harmless. So stop it. Stop it. You don't get to treat them like they're dangerous whenever you want, on and off like a light switch. They're either dangerous or they're not. And anything that is deadly that you shouldn't leave alone with your child, you shouldn't be in possession of it anyways. Something that dangerous. Especially if you can't even stop it from attacking. Stop.
With these dogs, even though this child evidently grew up with these animals.
So stop. Whenever a child grows up with dogs, all dog lovers view that child as safe around that dog. Y'all gonna have to stop with that nonsense. Every single pit bull lover on earth does the exact same thing. Well, if it grew up around, so listen, what it sounds like, the dogs were probably there before the child, or the dogs grew up together with the child. Anytime that happens, pit bull lovers believe the child is safe. Y'all stop with the nonsense. Don't try to act like now, oh, you should never leave them alone. Stop it.
We just believe that the dogs may have been agitated.
Okay, here, this is what I want to respond to right here. Y'all heard what she just said. Let me rewind it. Talking about she believes the pit bulls were agitated.
That the dogs may have been agitated. It's the only thing that seemed to make sense.
That's the only thing that seemed to make sense. You can tell how uneducated they are on pit bulls. And I see this with every single pit bull owner. You can tell by the way they talk, they've never done any real research into bully breeds at all.
They were agitated because some workers were there and the banging and
She said the pit bulls were agitated because some workers were there and there was some banging. So loud noises will cause them to attack a child they grew up with. This has to stop, man. Always making excuses for these things. Treating them like some type of innocent, blameless deities. This is part of the culture. How people in general, they feel this natural urge, or they're naturally discouraged from criticizing the dog and talking about the dog as being violent, inherently dangerous. They always avoid talking about the dog as if it shouldn't have been there. They will never say that, when that is the truth of the matter. The dog should have never been there. I don't want to hear about them being agitated. If you're saying that they will launch a deadly attack just because they hear a loud noise, and you knew that, then you had no business having that thing around the child, in the home, in the community at all. Now, that's either true or it's not. Pit bull lovers, you all know these things long before the attack happens. So what are you doing with a lethal, powerful, deadly creature that you knew full well could attack even a child it grew up with in response to a loud noise? And that's giving credit to this idea that it was a loud noise that provoked it. I don't believe that. These are just bloodthirsty mutants that were bred to kill and attack. I'm sick of this ignorant era where people have this old backwoods ignorance and don't do any reading, no research. Don't act on information. That has to go, man. That era has got to go.
Animals.
We just believe that maybe the dogs may have been agitated. It's the only thing that seemed to make sense. Like, they were agitated because some workers were there, and the banging and the noise and what have you was going on. And she just went to the back.
What? This is a problem. In honor of your deceased grandchild, it's your job. You're obligated to get on this camera, in front of this camera, and say to the world, we shouldn't have had possession of these things. We heard all the stories about how dangerous they are. We knew they were killers. We heard all the stories about how they'll turn on their owners, and we ignored it. We took the chance anyways. This was our fault. Instead, they don't want to take the blame. They don't want to take any blame. So they blame something other than the dog because they don't want to project the dog as dangerous because they know that they're the one who brought the dog around. So they can't say, oh, it's a powerful or dangerous dog. No, something else startled the dog and turned the dog into something else, into a monster. Set the dog off. That's a disservice to the memory of this lost grandson. That's a disservice. And it does not help to prevent this from happening to other children. In fact, it encouraged killings like this to continue. To give a response like what she gave encourages these types of things to continue. That's a disservice to the child's memory. This is not rocket science. The only way to serve his memory and give honor to his spirit is to admit that you shouldn't have had these things around this child, ever. Pit bulls have no business being around children. You heard her say that the mother fought to save the boy. The boy died anyways. He was killed anyways. That means the adult, the mother, was incapable of stopping this creature, which means it shouldn't have been there. If the guardian can't neutralize it, if the parent can't neutralize it, it has no business being there. That's good old-fashioned common sense, logic and common sense. Horrible story. Pit bull victim awareness is on fire right now. Let's check out this other story. I haven't even listened to this yet.
New at 10, a brutal dog attack in Lincoln Park sent a woman to the emergency room and her dog into emergency surgery. Now she tells CBS 2's Tara Molina she's concerned for her health after possible exposure to COVID-19.
She's walked this route hundreds of times.
It was definitely traumatic.
But their steps Jennifer takes with caution now, after she and her dog Sophie were attacked by what she says appeared to be a pit bull mix.
I'm afraid to go outside.
Still shaken up, She let this shot of us do the talking.
I make the split-second decision to pick up my dog to try to protect her. Unfortunately, this didn't deter the dog.
This is quite complicated here. Quite complicated. It benefits, at least I believe this, it benefits our movement. Benefits our movement to focus on these bully breeds. While I do believe all dogs should be banned, it's much more difficult to convince people that little tiny dogs like this need to be banned. It's much more difficult. They would have to have a very solid understanding of the diseases these things carry, the fact that they are still deadly in large numbers. They are deadly even by themselves for babies, infants. These things can and have killed babies and even toddlers. But they have to thoroughly understand how bad these things impact our health. Based on the information that the medical field has admitted, they've already admitted to millions of infections from dogs to people every year. Millions. But just think of how many are swept under the rug, are kept away from the general public because they don't want people to get rid of their dogs. But the truth is, dog owners like this, many of them are equally against pit bulls. They are dead set against pit bulls. Pit bulls are the extreme version of dogs. They're overtly dangerous and aggressive. I mean, it's blatant. But a lot of dog lovers feel guilty about speaking out against pit bulls because pit bulls are still dogs. And they don't want to come off as an anti-dog person. So a lot of them keep their mouths shut. So it'll benefit us to wake up even more dog lovers who are against pit bulls in society. This is something that has to be done in steps. But the owners of these small dogs, there's no excuse for you either. When you see a petition to ban bully breeds, you need to be signing it. And if you can talk, you better, or write, then you need to write a blog, create something, use some type of platform to spread the message. Because we need more voices. Right, let me rewind this a little bit and continue. Sorry about that. I started babbling a little too long.
By what she says appeared to be a pit bull mix.
I'm afraid to go outside.
Still shaken up, she let this shot of us do the talking.
I make the split-second decision to pick up my dog to try to protect her. Unfortunately, this didn't deter the dog, and it still kept running towards us and attacked both of us.
She jumped in a cab and rushed to the vet, where Sophie needed emergency surgery. The injuries to her neck and ear, too graphic to show you.
I mean, this mutt is so addicted to attacking other creatures, whether it be a dog or any other animal on site, which that is breed-specific behavior. Okay? Breed matters. It's the most important thing.
Jennifer had to go to the emergency room for bites on her hand, nerve damage, and a hit to her knee.
With COVID and stuff occurring, I feel really anxious about exposing myself to that.
She says she has to go back 5 more times to complete rabies shots. Concerning right now, to say the least.
I feel bad that I'm having to detract from care for, really sick patients experiencing COVID, but also I have to put myself at risk.
Jennifer reported the attack to Chicago police and Chicago Animal Care and Control, who are still investigating this incident, telling me they take dog bites seriously and investigations can result in citations and fines.
Citations and fines. 2 things that never work. These dog lovers laugh at that stuff. A citation and a fine. All right? Don't be too tough on them now.
West Side.
Wow. No, you're not taking dog attacks seriously if that's all you do. Let me know when you ban them. Ban bully breeds. Then I'll believe that a police department takes dog attacks seriously, or any jurisdiction. I don't hear nothing about no fine.
Woman and her dog both ended up in the ER after they were attacked by 4 dogs.
What if it had been a child? What if it had been an elderly person that they would have knocked over?
We just learned about the attack that happened 2 weeks ago on Lancia Street near 103rd. News4Jax reporter Eric Avanier spoke to the woman. He joins us live. And Eric, it has not been a quick recovery for her.
No, it's not. In fact, here at the Animal Control headquarters, officers are investigating that attack after the victim ended up in the hospital not once but twice because of the same dog bite injury. This is what the infection to Ashley Parnell's leg looked like after she was bitten during a pit bull attack. It happened in the driveway of her.
Whoa, they say a infection? Wow.
This is what the infection to Ashley Parnell's leg looked like after she was bitten during a pit bull attack. It happened in the driveway of her home while walking her Jack Russell Terrier. She explained what happened from her hospital bed.
The neighbors...
Hey, doesn't the results of these attacks tell you how filthy, nasty, disease-ridden these mutts are? Notice how it's only after a dog attack do people have these jacked up infections. Sepsis, staph, all these jacked up, skin deteriorating, cell destroying infections. It's always a dog that bit the victim. Okay, just make note of that. I always talk about how these things are more germ, bacteria, disease ridden than other creatures. And I think it shows in how many people get infected on average.
4 pit bulls come across the street and they attacked us. I tried to get my dog and myself back in the house, but wasn't able to.
Ashley's mom, Kathy, was in the house and had just jumped out of the shop.
Oh, these are all unprovoked. Every single attack is unprovoked. And I just read that statement from that behaviorist nutter. No, that was somebody in the comment section who said there's always a reason for pit bulls attacking. There was always something done to it. That's a very dangerous narrative. To think that there was always something. I don't know what it was, but it had to have been something. Surely the pit bull was not just acting like a pit bull. Acting like what it was bred for. No, that couldn't be it. It had to have been some unnatural agitation. These people, I'm telling you, these people are riding on a very dangerous and insane narrative, man.
Shower when she heard the commotion outside.
When she got to the door, she was screaming and screaming.
Her daughter was taken to the emergency room and treated for her injuries. She had to return a week later when an infection from one of the dog bites started to spread. It was so bad she had to be admitted into the hospital.
Now, this happens a lot. Quite often it's sepsis or it's just some crazy infection. That's more likely to kill you. The infection. Y'all have read where they said that the worst thing about a dog bite is its saliva. Getting its saliva inside of your womb. Nasty, filthy. And they claim these things have a cleaner mouth than humans. Nothing cleaner about a dog. Dogs are the dirtiest, filthiest, nastiest creatures on earth.
How are you feeling today?
Okay. I'm healing.
As for the family dog that was also attacked,
I thought he was dead. So did my daughter.
Parnell's mother says their Jack Russell Terrier was severely mauled and almost didn't survive.
he wasn't neutered, but they took everything he had, and he had to have everything removed.
This is the owner of the dog.
Okay, so the pit bull bit off the dog's genitals. They'll do this to a person too.
Who lives across the street. He didn't want to talk on camera, but gave me permission to come on his property.
Wait a minute, what? Let's back that up now.
He had to have everything removed.
This is the owner of the dogs who lives across the street.
A fit, healthy young man. Look at this. This is a bench press. This is a weight bench right here. Strong, hulking young man.
He didn't want to talk on camera, but gave me permission to come on his property to see how the dogs got out of the backyard. He said the dogs dug under a fence, then entered his neighbor's yard.
Dug under a fence, then entered a neighbor's yard. 4 pit bulls. Now again, these dogs did not attack the owner. Maybe the owner, followed the training advice that's given by these behaviorists. And good for him. It reduced the chances that the dog will attack him. But like I've been saying time and time again, those dogs will just as easily attack someone other than this young alpha owner. So this is for Caesar and all the rest of you dog trainers. I know a lot of you listen who talk about this goofy alpha approach. Your dogs are still dangerous. Fruitcake. They're still a danger to the society. You cannot train a dog to be harmless.
The neighbor's gate,
especially a pit bull. Mutants bred to attack and kill for sport. Listen, people, pit bulls were bred to feel as if they're having an orgasm when they maul, mutilate, maim, and kill. There's no defending a creature like that. There's no projecting a creature like that as if it's acceptable in society. Just look it up. When pit bulls are attacking, killing, maiming, they feel extremely good. They feel high. It's a rush. That's why they always continue attacking and can't stop. That's why they're so eager. It's like they're going crazy. It's like they've snapped. That's what they're talking about when they talk about, the pit bull and it comes out. They're talking about this rush that they get when they are killing. Tell me something like this is the best friend. Y'all goofballs, y'all bringing these things around, kids.
Gates facing Lancia Street were open, so the dogs ran across the street. He said since the attack happened, he placed wooden boards against the fence to keep his dogs from getting out. Although he told News4Jax his dogs are vaccinated, the animal control officer investigating the incident says the dog believed to have bitten Parnell was not current on its vaccinations during the time of the attack.
Now, just like I said, let me point it out again. You can tell this guy used the alpha pro. He probably smacked these worthless, unsightly mutts around all the time. Yeah, they won't attack him, maybe. But they're just dying to attack somebody else. So yeah, because training is the only thing that behaviorists refer to when they want to defend pit bulls in society. That's the only thing they mention. Well, what we need is education, training. Right? So stop.
Control officer investigating the incident says the dog believed to have bitten Parnell was not current on its vaccinations during the time of the attack. Now, hospital and vet bills are quickly adding up, which is why Parnell's mom says that she and her daughter may consider filing a lawsuit against the owner of those 4 dogs.
You think? You think? What in the world is this? Pit bull bites 13-year-old boy's ear off. Boy, oh boy. Okay, let's check this out.
In yet another horrifying incident of a pit bull attack, this time in Punjab, a 13-year-old became the victim in Punjab's Gurdaspur district on Friday. The boy's ears were badly bitten off during the attack. The report said that the father of the child who was with him saved his life with great difficulty. The incident took place at the Kotli Bhan Singh village in Gurdaspur. The family said that the father and the boy were returning home on their two-wheeler when the pit bull standing outside with the owner started barking at the boy. The owner accidentally dropped the dog's leash, which led to the dog attacking the boy.
The dog owner accidentally dropped the leash, which led to the dog attacking the boy. Drop the leash? So he's just standing there. The dog just standing there. He's holding the leash. Then he just dropped it? No. What happened was that mutt was tugging and pulling on the leash, and the owner lost control of it. The dog manipulated its restraint. No such thing as a responsible dog owner.
He dropped the dog's leash, which led to the dog attacking the boy. The owner, however, took control of the dog and went home. The injured child has been admitted to the hospital. The doctor said that the child is currently stable and is undergoing treatment. The incident comes in the wake of another incident reported in Lucknow, where an 82-year-old lady was mauled by her son's pit bull. In a bizarre and horrifying incident that took place in the Uttar Pradesh capital earlier this month.
Okay. Yeah, we know about these cases. Man, boy got his ear ripped off. Can't replace an ear. Get a prosthetic ear? Who wants that? A detachable ear? Who wants that?
So new tonight, fright.
You know? Dogs are that valuable, huh? Bully breeds are that valuable, huh? Lunatics.
Moments for two dog owners in Stratford. Their pets were attacked when out for a walk this weekend. Police believe the same pit bull is to blame. News 12 Connecticut, Suzanne Goklang joins us from the police department and picks up the story from there.
So is this what people are misunderstood? Is this how pit bulls are misunderstood? We hear all these reports involving pit bulls. You're saying we're misunderstanding this? You pit bull lovers? Okay, I'm still trying to figure that out.
There, Suzanne.
Good evening. Police say they believe the dog that did the biting is now in quarantine. Meanwhile, the four-legged victims are recovering.
Pretty long walks.
With a cone and a wobble, Jacob and Sydney head out for some exercise. But Saturday evening's stroll on Hazelwood Terrace turned terrifying.
I suddenly hear a bark.
A pit bull rushing out.
The pit bull's running towards me. Jacob is thinking, oh, he wants to play.
It was no game.
They're already tussling at each other, and I hear the yipe. And I knew immediately he got him. Immediately he got him.
Sydney grabbed the bleeding Beagle Terrier.
I had Jacob on my shoulder, and I immediately slammed the dog in the face.
With what?
With my fist. I just went bam on the nose, and he just walked away.
A move he realizes was risky.
At that point, I took a chance. It wasn't until after I hit him that in my mind, I said, what if that mouth was open? He would have actually crushed my hand.
You can see the wounds on Jacob's chest. At the vet's office, Sydney learned another dog was hurt in the same spot, too.
The doctor came back in and said to me,
So you have this particular breed of dog that's well known to attack other dogs like a shark on land. And these people are still trying to tell us that these are family members, harmless, acceptable creatures in society. They're misunderstood. We're ignorant. We don't know anything. Man, how they ever come up with their talking points is beyond me.
Yeah, that's the dog that was just brought in a few seconds ago. I have to treat him now first.
Jacob appears to be bouncing back, friendly as ever.
He loves other dogs.
Stop. Now, maybe you have a goofy dog that's too dumb to attack people. You know, I don't even think that's possible. But let's say your mutt is so harmless. Guess what? That thing is still filthy, nasty, disgusting, and it's dangerous having that thing in society. I don't care how harmless you think it is. Oh, now what in the world is this? 2 pit bulls severely injured 73-year-old man. Uh-oh. I see a young man right there. Who is that? All right, let's check this out.
A man in his 70s is severely injured after 2 pit bulls attacked him. This happened on the 800 block of Mission Road in East El Paso, and that is also where we find ABC 7's Rachel Phillips. So, Rachel, what can you tell us about the attack?
Well, Steph, it's really just an unfortunate and a very unlucky story. The man who was attacked doesn't even live at this house. He was actually just here gardening. Take a look over here.
Unfortunate. Do y'all know? Unfortunate is when you're walking and an acorn falls from out a tree and lands on top of your head. That's just an unfortunate accident. These ain't no accidents. Stop it. It's too much at this point.
To the right, you can see that rake there, as well as these 2 piles of dried grass that were left behind. Neighbors told me he comes about once a month to help out, and usually it's with his wife, but she wasn't here this time around. And not only that, Steph, but the dogs that attacked him also weren't from around here. Instead, police say they were from a house 3 blocks away. Neighbors told me the owner of the dogs had been driving around for about 20 minutes trying to find them.
Oh, this nutter driving around looking for his pit bulls. Once again, they've manipulated restraints and barriers. This is why they should be illegal. Don't talk to me about no responsible dog owners. Stop it. Stop it, nutters.
That's when he stumbled upon them right here attacking the 73-year-old man.
He found his dogs attacking a 73-year-old man. So the dogs didn't attack him. This is a young, fit man. Just like I've been saying. This is what I'm talking about, pit nutters. All my beliefs that I talk about here that you don't like, that bothers you, it keeps getting proved to be correct. With each story, there are always stories coming out that confirm what I'm saying, but we never hear the stories that confirm that anything that y'all say. 73-year-old man ain't do nothing to these dogs. They went out soon as they were loose, looking for somebody to attack. Wow.
First responders said the man was left with serious injuries to the back of his neck and cheek and several other puncture wounds. Neighbors told me the owner had to pry the dogs off the man. In this video, you can see the owner helping police lift one of the dogs into the animal service van.
Y'all hear that? Let's rewind that.
Neighbors told me the owner had to pry the dogs off the man.
It said the owner had to pry the dogs off the man. So no voice command. Voice command didn't work, even though the owner is an alpha. Whenever I see a young man with pit bulls, I always assume that they slap these things around. That's just what young men do. They slap them around. They use aggression and intimidation. Okay, well, it won't attack you, but it will attack any and everybody else. He couldn't even get this dog inside that thing. The cop basically had to do it for him.
Neighbors told me the owner had to pry the dogs off the man. In this video, you can see the owner helping police lift one of the dogs into the animal service van. And then moments later, you can see that same man sitting on the sidewalk, visibly distressed.
He started crying because, he didn't expect to see his dogs on top of this man.
Oh, Lord. Cringe. Cringe. Lord. They want to play. Now it's time to play dumb. He didn't expect to see his dogs on top of this man. Even though the guy, he acquired pit bulls because they're deadly, because they're dangerous. He got off on the threat. He got off on how dangerous they were. Got off on looking like a tough guy when he goes to walk them. Don't play dumb now like he didn't know that they were dangerous, that they were lethal. Don't play stupid now that it's time for you to go to jail. This has to stop, man. This is just crime taking place.
He started crying because, he didn't expect to see his dogs on top of this man. This man was lifeless. His body was on the ground. Like, he couldn't talk. He couldn't yell for help. He was helpless.
And Steph and Eric, neighbors told me the dogs dragged the man from all the way where that rake was along this wall. You can see the blood all the way along, and then all the way to here on the sidewalk where you can still see even more blood.
Torture. And keep in mind, this usually happens to children. And that's what the pit bull lovers love so much. They just love when stuff like this happens to little babies and toddlers. Yeah, rip it apart. Yeah, bleed it slowly. Yeah, torture. These pit nutters, they love that. I think they privately get off like, oh, killed someone. Oh, killed another baby. Dangerous pooch. It's a real sick, demented obsession. What else am I left to assume? They obviously love how deadly and dangerous these things are. So stories like this, it sort of turns them on. Yeah, they know it's the truth.
Even more blood on the sidewalk or the footpath there. Now, the man who owns this house told me that he visited the man who was attacked in the hospital earlier this afternoon. He said he was in stable condition. At this time, we haven't heard what police plan to do with the dogs, but as soon as we learn more information, we'll update you both on air and online at kva.com.
Okay. There you go. Boy, how crazy. Woman who ordered her pit bull to kill a man gets 20 years in prison. Did I talk about that? There were a couple cases like that went on here recently.
A woman convicted of a deadly dog attack has learned her fate.
Back in 2020, neighbors told police they saw Melissa Wolke assaulting Donald Abner at their home on US 25. She was also giving her pit bull commands to attack him. Abner died at the scene. Wolke pleaded guilty to murder. Yesterday in court, she was sentenced to 20 years behind bars. That was the recommended sentence as part of her plea.
20 years? Okay, should have got life. She know what she did. Man, this was a knowing attempted murder or murder. This man died. Only 20 years? What in the world? Pit bulls kill tiny dog and attack its owner. Sharp rise in attacks. Okay.
A distraught dog owner in Melbourne is trying to find two pit bulls who mauled his dog to death. Patrick Chrysostomo was walking his cavoodle Kevy at the Moonee Ponds Creek Trail when he says the off-leash dogs attacked them. Patrick himself was bitten on the leg, shot.
Yeah. We know that happens. This news report is like 6 minutes long. Boy, they're really making it a showcase of the dog. You can see they just got all 6 minutes jam-packed with images about this dog. You know, projected as a story about a precious dog. They don't even put it in the right perspective. This is about a menace that needs to be dealt with.
A West Side woman and her dog
Wait a
both
minute.
ended up in the ER.
Okay, yeah, I just watched that. There was another story here. There's so many stories. What? Man riding a bike? Killed? Boy, the bloodshed.
Very little is known about a man who was presumably mauled to death by dogs, one or more of them in East Harris County last night or perhaps this morning.
And the issue of dogs is concerning in that area to a lot of residents that live there, of course. It's a largely commercial area, we understand. ABC 13's Chaz Miller is now live in Channelview with more.
Myra, Harris County Sheriff's investigators say the man who died last night or early this morning, it happened right there, and they say he was riding his bicycle when he was attacked. Now, you mentioned people in this neighborhood. There are a few trailers through here where people live. There's also those...
Riding his bike? A man? There's a grown man riding his bike. Like I said, neighborhoods, communities, they're not safe. All because of these pit bull owners. These owners of vicious mutts. True menace to society, man.
Those businesses, and while those people are shocked that somebody did in fact die because of one or more dogs, they said the whole situation wasn't completely out of left field.
Crime scene tape and blood in the street are the two remaining signs of last...
Let's say out of left field. Stop with that, man. Oh, I never expected it to happen. You let people bring these things in the neighborhood, then you want to act surprised when they attack somebody?
Tonight's vicious attack in the 15,700 block of Garling in East Harris County. And that block, located off of Sheldon and I-10, has had repeated issues with loose dogs. It's a problem people in the neighborhood know all too well. From this woman, whose dad owns the business closest to the point of the attack.
I've had a little scares around. I'll see, like a dog will charge at me, but I'll step back just so that I won't, tempt him.
To this man, who said he has been attacked by pit bulls previously in this area and is only alive because someone intervened.
I made it to the porch. My friend come back and saved my life. I had blood all my pants, everything.
We reached out to the Harris County Health Department, who is over the county's animal control efforts, to see if any steps would be undertaken to get loose dogs out of this area. Our message was not returned, but residents and business owners here hope something happens.
There you go again. See, you got to police your own neighborhoods. When it comes to dogs, these people are not going to take it seriously. You call, quite often, the police department, you call animal control. Most likely it's a dog lover on the other end. They're going to tell you, yeah, we'll send somebody out there and nobody will come out. They'll come out the next day. Because they're against the idea of treating dogs like they're a menace to society, like they're a problem. That's a problem. Well, they have this culture of viewing dogs, oh, it's just a dog. Don't be afraid, it's just a dog. That's how they address xenophobia. That was their whole reason behind creating xenophobia. That somehow something's wrong with you. You have some type of mental problem if you don't want to be around these things. All right, marinate on that now. That's what they try to project. You don't want to be around these mutants. Something's wrong with you. And this works with a lot of people. These dog lovers, they are quick to try to guilt shame you for not being as dumb as they are and endangering yourself like they are.
I couldn't believe the dog's in it. My staff isn't scared, because they were here last night. They were here yesterday afternoon.
ABC 13 recently investigated dangerous dogs. Last month in Fort Bend County, a 71-year-old was mauled to death by a pack of 7 pit bulls. The next night, a 16-year-old refugee from Egypt named Omar was hit and killed by a car in Alief. He was running away from a dog. And 2 days later, a Houston police officer was bitten in the leg while responding to a vicious dog call. We looked at county records, which shows most of the attacks were reported on the northwest side. We have more on those reports inside ABC 13.
Man, Houston, Texas in general is bad for dog attacks. They're about as bad as Ohio, if not worse. What in the world? This is too much. Teen attacked by pit bulls outside a grocery store. There you go. Grocery store?
Ordeal in a Santaquin parking lot.
Witnesses say multiple dogs got loose from a car and at least one went on the attack.
Got loose from a car. This is why, isn't this terrible? Even if you go to the grocery store, you're not safe walking from your car in the parking lot inside the grocery store. Because goofy, dumb nutters bring their dogs with them and they're inside the vehicle. And these goofballs will open the door and the dog will dart out and attack someone. They are coming from inside the store while the dog has been locked in on someone, usually someone's child. And as soon as they open the door, the dog darts out and attacks. These people are a menace to society. Don't tell me that you being a pit nutter is not my problem. Yes, it is.
News specialist Andrew Adams spoke to the girl and her family, as well as one man who intervened and is live with the exclusive story. Andrew.
Dan, we're standing outside the Macy's here in Santaquin. If you follow me beyond this sign, you see into the parking lot. If you look where the grocery carts go, where those handicap signs are, it's just outside the entrance. That's where we understand this took place. The 16-year-old we interviewed tonight described a very harrowing encounter.
They were all 3 just surrounding me.
It was just after work.
They just started circling around me.
And on the way to her truck in the parking lot.
So I was like, no, it's fine. They probably just want to say hi.
She was suddenly surrounded by 3 dogs.
About maybe this big.
Sienna Hooper says of those dogs,
pit bulls.
One started to act aggressively, biting at her.
First she got my fingertips, and then she grabbed my arm. She grabbed this arm, and then she got this leg, and this is where her teeth sunk in it.
The marks left behind were obvious.
And I didn't know what really to do, so I just started screaming pretty much.
And that's when a stranger intervened.
And right when I looked was when the dog actually jumped and bit the girl. Yeah.
Dylan Barber says as he approached, the dogs were still acting wild.
And this dog actually made it in the guy's truck, and he had to push it out the window.
When one of
the dog got into somebody else's truck. Could you imagine being inside of your truck in the parking lot of a grocery store and a pit bull leaps inside your window? That's possible thanks to pit nutters. Now, what are you bringing pit bulls to the grocery store for? You can tell these people just get off on the attention. Oh, watch me bring these dangerous creatures and watch how people look at us like we're so edgy. Oh, aren't we special? A whole lot of narc mentality goes into this. No reason to bring no pit bulls. You bring multiple pit bulls to a grocery store, there's no reason if you stupid enough to own them. You know, you would think that these people would at least leave them at home, tied up, fenced up or something. You know, fences don't work and tying them up don't work. You tie them up inside the basement, lock the door. That's what you need to do. These nutters, you want to bring them everywhere you go as well? These people are a problem. These pit nutters are a serious problem in society. No, you're not wanted. There's nothing special about you. You think you're all high moral because you fight to protect these repugnant killers? Nothing special about you. Where these people get off thinking there's some type of angel on earth because they defend the existence of these hellhounds, these mutants. Get out of here, man.
Animals went after Barber.
I did draw my weapon, and they were coming at me. I backpedaled about 10 feet, and that's when it began to lunge at me and try to bite me. And so that's when I made the decision to stop the dog.
The ordeal drew a response from Santaquin police officers, who cited the dog's owner. And it's also led the teen's parents to caution other owners to keep their pets properly secured.
You never know, because it's in, you know, what they're going to do, because it's kind of their natural thing that they do. They're a wild animal.
The family.
No, they're not a wild animal. Don't insult wild animals like that. And anything that you need to keep properly secured so it don't kill people has no business in society. Man, how many times does this have to be confirmed? Every single thing that is said confirms that these things have no business being legal, being in society at all.
Is just grateful there weren't further injuries.
So thank you for watching out and protecting our daughter.
Yeah,
appreciate
wish
it.
I could have been there a minute earlier, but
so it's okay.
After an attack, nobody here will soon forget.
Just appreciate you being there for our daughter.
Well, the girl's parents say this is also a good example of why it's important to be aware of your surroundings. They say in this case, the girl came out here.
No. It should be important to know that people are not allowed to own these things. People shouldn't have to watch their back going to Macy's. What about old people? Even if they're aware of their surroundings, if a couple pit bulls are charging at them, what do you expect them to do? Stop with this being aware of your surroundings, all this goofball nonsense. Be aware of your surroundings. Why? So you can say your prayers? You some 75-year-old man? You got pit bulls running towards you? Be aware so you can say your prayers right before the ending, before you get tortured? Why can't these people, you want to take my tax money all my life? Why can't these people at least create a safe area for us to live? That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I mean, weeks after dangerous. There's a lot of these videos I haven't even watched yet. I gotta check this out. I don't think I watched this yet.
Her story after another person's dog viciously attacked her in her own driveway, leaving her with bite wounds and badly bruised.
Then it grabbed onto the inside of my arm, and this is all with a sweatshirt on, but I felt like the dog was trying to eat me.
It happened on a neighborhood street in Martinez on Friday, but it is not the first time this dog has charged and bitten someone. Good evening. I'm Julie Hayner.
And I'm Mike Meback. Animal Services says it has been made aware of this dog before. New at 6, KTVU investigative reporter Brooks Giroux live in the newsroom with a closer look at the fallout from this latest attack. Brooks?
Well, I've actually learned Animal Services pushed for this dog to be designated as a dangerous animal. Now, that would have required a specialized permit, but a hearing officer in Contra Costa County reversed that request in court. That means the dog was allowed to return to the owner's home without any restrictions. And then weeks later, another attack.
There you go. You had some nutters say, oh, the dog is fine. It's just Pibbles. It's just a pooch. Oh, it's the first time. Never shown aggression before. Just leave it alone next time. Stop pestering the dog. And attacked again.
It did not bark. It did not growl.
it just honed in on me and started coming at me.
An unprovoked dog attack in...
Oh, that's no surprise. They're all unprovoked. This is what I'm talking about. All these adults who are attacked and they know it's unprovoked, they need to speak out when they hear these behaviorists pointing towards child misbehavior as the one and only cause of dog attacks. And that's what these behaviorists do. When they talk about kids being attacked, they always say 100% of the time, it's because of what the kids were doing to the dog. Meanwhile, adults getting attacked unprovoked left and right. More proof that these people are liars. That's proof. That's not even evidence. That's proof. Not going to tell me only adults are attacked unprovoked, but every attack against a child, oh, the child did something. Get out of here.
Her own driveway in Martinez. This woman, who doesn't want to be identified, says she's been fearful of the neighbor's pit bull that lunged at her once before.
The first time I was able to get away, this time the dog pulled and she was like water skiing, sliding with the dog.
And yet another person who wants their identity concealed. Everybody knows that these people, these owners of these mutants, are lunatics. Everybody understands that. And we all notice, even other dog lovers, they treat pit bull owners like domestic terrorists, like some type of drug cartel. Y'all notice that? Every time they only show the person's feet, a shadow, they want their identity concealed. They view and treat pit bull owners like murdering drug cartels. Very telling. This is very telling.
Up my driveway, which is super steep.
She says
what do they say? Actions speak louder than words.
Out of its collar and bit through her sweatshirt, then clamped down on her arm.
I felt like the dog was trying to eat me.
Tackled, bit in the leg and on the face. She says the owner did nothing.
I was yelling, get your dog off me. I screamed when the dog got me on the ground.
She says her husband ran outside, threatened and scared the dog off. It's now in quarantine. But KTVU has learned it's not the first time the pit bull named Spot has bitten. Records show in late August, a homeless man suffered punctures, scratches.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. There was no reason to share that dog's name. We were just fine viewing it as nothing but a dog, a nameless dog. But they always throw in the names in defense of the dogs. That's their way of trying to get the listeners to feel sorry for the dog, to sympathize with the dog, to view the dog as more of a human that was temporarily insane because of something somebody did to it. Stop it.
And a laceration after Spot got loose. Contra Costa County Animal Services was tasked with investigating.
How often does this happen?
Daily, unfortunately.
Estimating roughly 20 calls a day for aggressive dogs.
20 calls a day to one police department? Now, you want to still argue that these things are not a problem to entire communities? It's one of the biggest problems in our country. But it's the least talked about.
County has a dangerous animals ordinance. If a dog, when unprovoked, bites or causes an injury, it can be designated as a potentially dangerous animal. And if it
potentially dangerous, it attacks unprovoked. Oh, it's just potentially dangerous. It just has the potential to be dangerous. After it launches an attempted murder, oh, it only has the potential to be dangerous.
It causes severe injury or death, designated as a dangerous animal. Both require a paid permit and strict rules. Data shows 100 animals have those designations countywide.
So for a potentially dangerous animal, it must have a muzzle. It must have a big
dog. You know, other animal dangerous. Get out of here. Stop calling these mutants animals. This is why I don't like calling these things animals.
Red tag, and there's posting on your door in the front of your home that says a potentially dangerous animal lives here.
For dangerous animals, they're not even allowed off the owner's property and must be secured. In both cases,
Oh, man's best friend. This is why, I don't tolerate these nutters talking about these bully breeds like we simply are confused. Oh, you just don't understand them. You just don't understand them like I do. Okay, ask one of these people who say that stuff. Okay, help me to understand the bully breeds then. You notice they never get to that point. Okay, we don't understand. We misunderstand them. They're misunderstood. Help us understand. All they're going to do is share a video or a photo of them with their pit bull. Might have some goofy music in the background. See, that's pit bulls. Pit bulls are love. That level of goofiness, brainlessness is infuriating. You can't take people like that seriously.
the dog is allowed to return home.
I get that neighbors may not like living next to someone like that, or bite victims may not like that that dog has a second chance. We get that a lot too. But the reality is that the process is in place for people to go through it and see whether they want to maintain that animal at their home.
No, the process is there to give the dog another chance to attack somebody. That's what it is. It's all part of this sacrifice cult. It's all part of sacrifice. They sacrifice our safety and, as well, primarily, according to statistics, primarily children. They make up over 50% of all attack victims. So that's what you're doing. I don't want to hear nothing about this goofiness. See, this was the time where she was supposed to explain why this law makes sense, and she failed. She couldn't even defend it.
To return home.
I get that neighbors may not like living next to someone like that.
May not like. Here you got a creature that has proven to be deadly and to have a temper. Oh, well, they just don't like. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is madness.
Or bite victims may not like that that dog has a second chance.
Bite victims may not like it. Pit bulls don't bite. They rip, they shred. See how they minimize? They minimize everything. Everything negative about pit bulls. They minimize it. And it's in an unintelligent way, the way they do it. And somehow people swallow it.
We get that a lot too. But the reality is that the process is in place for people to go through it.
The process is in place for people to go through it.
And see whether they want to maintain that animal.
And see whether they want to keep it alive. You see how thoughtless that is? What is that supposed to mean? People want answers. They want to know, why are you allowing this same dog that is proven to be dangerous? Why are you letting it back into the community? Well, it's just so the owner can decide whether or not he wants to keep it. What? You airheaded buffoon. What? What did you say? And what is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to make sense somehow? I have a family. Why are y'all letting this dog that has already attacked someone stay in this community? Well, it's just so the owner can decide whether or not it wants to keep it. You can't make this up.
at their home.
That process began for Spot. He was designated a dangerous dog by Animal Services, but documents show that decision was reversed in court. The hearing officer believes Spot may have actually been provoked by the homeless man. It allowed the one-year-old...
Provoked by the homeless man. As always, try to take blame off the dog.
Pitt to live here on Saxon Street without restrictions until this latest attack.
I blame the dog, and I blame the owners because they should control the dog if they know it's aggressive.
There you go. She said I blame the dog and the owners. There you go. Now you talking. Now you talking.
Until this
you know what? We're going to hear more and more people who give interviews like this using our talking points. You're going to hear more and more of it. What we talk about is going to catch on because it's the truth.
Latest attack.
I blame the dog, and I blame the owners because they should control the dog if they know
See?
it's aggressive.
See? We're going to help smarten up the population, help them to snap out of it. Right? This is going to counter that brainwashing.
Towards other people, they need to have control of it.
No, they shouldn't be in possession of it. This idea that, oh, you just need to control it. You just need to control this big, powerful monster of a creature. You're only 90 pounds soaking wet. Oh, it's your job to control it. This madness, man. This madness has to stop. Pit bull bites toddler's neck and attack man. Where are these stories coming from? I thought I was keeping up with this channel.
Year-old boy was rushed here to Children's Hospital in serious condition. I'm told he underwent surgery, but is expected to recover. I'm told that likely would not be the case had that family friend not intervened in that dog attack. This was the aftermath of a dog mauling on Rosemont, south of 8 Mile on Detroit's west side. The victims, a 47-year-old man and the toddler he tried to save.
He's energetic, very sweet little boy. It's painful, so you know a child is now having to go through...
Wait a minute, did he die? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Or did I miss something? Wait a minute, I have to rewind.
Year-old boy was rushed here to Children's Hospital in serious condition. I'm told he underwent surgery, but is expected to recover. I'm told that likely would not be the case had that family friend not intervened in that dog attack. This was the aftermath of a dog mauling on Rosemont, south of 8 Mile on Detroit's west side. The victims, a 47-year-old man and the toddler he tried to save.
He's energetic, very sweet little boy. It's painful, so you know a child is now having to go through unnecessary pain because of the negligence of somebody else.
Angelise Harris is a family friend. Her husband, Jonell, was bitten several times trying to rescue the boy, who was later taken to Children's Hospital for his injuries. Jonell was taken to Sinai Grace.
He's just in a lot of pain. He was in a lot of pain, and he was really concerned about what was going on. And that's about it.
He was sent to the hospital, not the dog. So there you go, a grown man. Strong, young, fit, healthy young man. Need to get hospitalized just like a baby. Just as helpless, almost, as a baby. These are true land sharks. You stop playing dumb here.
Kind of was going in and out. He's losing a lot of blood.
It all happened just after 3 p.m. Tuesday. The Detroit Police Department says the toddler was playing in his front yard when the next door neighbor's pit bull ran from its backyard and attacked the boy.
Unprovoked.
Biting his neck.
Unprovoked. There you go. Always. Here you see, I was just saying this. These attacks on these kids, they're all unprovoked. There you go. That's irrefutable. This was unprovoked. This is how it always goes. The report, they always say it was unprovoked. And when an attack is seen on camera, as you all know, It's always unprovoked. So this is a real bad look for dog behaviorists, veterinarians, and dog trainers who have all this material all over the internet. All over the internet. Where they're trying to give advice on how to reduce dog attacks on children. They all give advice on this. And they all say the same thing. The kids are doing something to it. But no, the truth is they're all unprovoked. So that means the real solution is to get rid of the dogs. So they want to continue to focus on something, on a lie. Blame the child and focus on the child's behavior. Oh, you misbehaved. You did not train your kid, teach your kid. And all this type of nonsense. You can do that forever. The problem is these mutants. They have to be gotten rid of. No question. At the very least, bully breeds. They need to be banned everywhere, all over the earth, and driven into extinction. These things need to become extinct right now.
Harris intervened, grabbing the child and punching the dog, which then turned on him, mauling his arm before attacking the child a second time. Police say the dog's owner eventually...
Okay, so he intervened, and then the dog attacked him and continued to. So he failed as a guardian. He was unable to protect the child.
Then turned on him.
Wait a minute.
Was playing in his front yard when the next door neighbor's pit bull ran from its backyard and attacked the boy, biting his neck. Harris intervened, grabbing the child and punching the dog, which then turned on him, mauling his arm before attacking the child a second time.
So this young, strong, fit man snatched the child and started to punch the dog. Wouldn't you think this would be efficient guardianship? Oh, what a protector. Then the dog starts mauling him. And then he becomes so ineffective at protecting the child, the dog goes back and mauls the child again. After this strong young man tried to intervene. After each case proves everything I'm saying to be correct. There's no such thing as a safe dog, no such thing as a guardian or protector or supervision, no such thing as a responsible dog owner. If dogs are simply around, then everybody else that's around is in danger. That's just the way it is.
Police say the dog's owner eventually pulled it away. The dog was initially chained up. It's not entirely clear how it got loose.
You are responsible for your pets. Nobody here hates dogs. We all love dogs.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. Let all that madness, all that brainwashing just come on out. The madness, the insanity, just let's hear it. Okay, let her say it again.
Entirely clear how it got loose.
You are responsible for your pets.
They're not pets. And yeah, you're responsible for not being in possession of them. Dangerous creatures like this.
Nobody here hates dogs.
Yes, we do.
We all love dogs.
No, we don't. She said that out of that unspoken fear that people have of being anti-dog. This is what I've been talking about. How they have made the general public feel guilty about having discontent for these things. No. As if it's evil. No, we're not evil. That was her way of saying none of us are evil people. We all love evil creatures. Think you supposed to get props for saying that you love these evil, wicked, demonic mutants? That don't make sense. It's not, I don't have to attack people personally. That don't make sense. Stop it. It is righteous. It is holy to hate dogs. Excuse me. Let me be pit bulls. It makes every drop of sense in the world. What are you talking about? You better say it until you're comfortable saying it. I hate these pit bulls. I want them out of the community. Why are these things even legal? Get them out the community. Yeah, we do hate pit bulls. Y'all better get comfortable with that, man. Stop brainwashing yourself. Because when you talking the way she is, talking about we all love dogs, that's when you do stupid stuff like bring these mutants around toddlers.
How it got loose.
You are responsible for your pets. Nobody here hates dogs. We all love dogs. But you are responsible for your pet.
It was not intentional. The first thing I told the officer when I walked up was, how is the baby and the person who was bitten?
What you mean it wasn't intentional? Yeah, it was intentional. The dog meant to attack. This is what I'm talking about, people. You see how everybody seemed like they programmed to take up for the dog? This is what I've been telling y'all, man. This is a brainwashing process. Everybody feel like they gotta not hate dogs, not blame the dog, take the blame off the dog. It wasn't the dog's fault. This is brainwashing.
For your pet.
It was not intentional. The first thing I told the officer when I walked up.
It was not intentional. It was intentional. Well, if it wasn't intentional, then when the dog is around the child and the dog is not attacking the child, that's not intentional either. The dog is not intending to not tear your child's face off. What do you mean it's not intentional? How does that make sense?
Was how is the baby and the person who was bitten? How are they?
Janider Hayes' son owns the dog. He was taken into custody Tuesday.
Okay, another young man who owns the dog, who was not attacked. Instead, other people were attacked. Thing even attacked another man. There you go with the alpha approach. Yeah, the dog, the pit bull, the bully breed did not attack its owner, but attacked others. You cannot train these mutants in any special way that will make them harmless.
Animal control has the pit bull, the mauling, sparking tension between the neighbors and those close with the victims.
None of them are bleeding, and none of them are in the hospital. None of them are about to fight for their lives, and none of them are going to have life-changing issues because of this.
Wait, what? What? Wait, whoa. What in the world is that supposed to mean?
Taken into custody Tuesday, animal control has the pit bull, the mauling, sparking tension between the neighbors and those close with the victims.
None of them are bleeding, and none of them are in the hospital. None of them are about to fight for their lives, and none of them are going to have life-changing issues because of this.
That's a lie. A flipping toddler was being mauled. A lethal predator went on the attack. That's going to stay with them for the rest of their life. What are you talking about? They're going to be more mindful now. Yeah, they just took a step closer to reality. Why would you even say something like this? Bending over backwards to minimize the negative impact that these things had. This is a traumatizing situation. This was an attempted murder. You're talking about blood being drawn from a toddler. What are you talking about? This is traumatizing. Don't try to minimize it and act like, oh, none of us are hurt or disturbed by this. Look, they're not bleeding. What are you talking about? My goodness. I told y'all this insanity is real. I'm not just talking crazy over here. This pit nutter, dog lover nuttery is real. This is a type of insanity. This is a mental illness.
And none of them are going to have life-changing issues because of this.
What in the world?
Now, the man who intervened in that dog attack, his wife tells me that the doctors are still trying to get control of the bleeding, and he is likely in for a very long road to recovery. As for the owner of
he got decimated. Dog did a number on this man. Okay, there's your supervision.
His family is raising concerns about how he was brought into custody. They say police roughed him up. Police say that he was resisting arrest. Even so, there is an investigation into the force that was used when he was taken into custody. You all, Taryn?
All right, Randy, though, but what about this dog? Have neighbors, did they say if there's been problems with it getting loose before?
Well, police have something that they are looking into. A neighbor who lives just a block south from where this all happened says she's seen that dog unleashed before, but the family says the dog is not violent or overly aggressive or anything of that nature, and that it was actually a gift to the owner, their son, when he graduated from college. So a very tentative, touchy situation here. 2 people still in the hospital, and this investigation still ongoing.
Stop with this nonsense. No, who cares whether or not they attacked before or have an attack history, a history of aggression? Who cares? If you got 80 million dogs in a country, rest assured, many of them are going to become aggressive for the very first time. That's one thing that's being proven. There's going to be a percentage of them that become aggressive. And it's really going to be probably more than half of them. I believe over half of all dogs bite somebody at some point in its life. So stop. It's more playing dumb. Whether or not it showed aggression previously is irrelevant. These things have a unique brain. We have enough information to deem them as creatures with a specific type of behavior. It's seen in the statistics. They're very consistent. Tens of thousands of bites every day. Thousands in the ER. Stop it with this stupid nonsense. Treating these things like individuals. As a population, they are maintaining a steady pattern of attacks, producing consistent statistics. You understand that? You don't have a year where there was no attacks or deaths or mutilations ever. So stop with this goofiness. Boy, the amount of content that needs to be dealt with is unreal. Shout out to everybody. And it's been here over an hour and a half already. What in the world? Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this video. I had to just hop on here and blow off some steam. Got back around to watching some of these videos. These pit bulls are, like I've said, very easy targets. They're very easy targets. But at the same time, I don't want to lose sight of how dangerous it is to have dogs in society, period. You know, but with all of these laws allowing people to own bully breeds, it's pretty obvious that they don't care. They're not trying to work in our best interest. It's all about money with these people. So they're willing to violate people's natural human rights. We have a natural right to not have to worry about our kids or ourselves being torn to shreds, simply going out to get our mail, going out to our vehicle. We should be able to live in a country where we don't have to worry about teachers teaching our kids to view these things as harmless. They're overplaying their hand with this dog culture. Yeah, and it's about time we put a stop to this nonsense. Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this live stream, and I hope to see you on the next as we continue this crusade.